The big thing in episode 2 is after they do all that, Bucky's like, I know a guy.
Oh yeah.
And he takes him to see Isaiah Bradley, right?
Yeah.
Now, to all my listeners out there, I have been screaming about Eli Bradley and Isaiah Bradley for a while. You know, a few months back, probably about almost a year ago when we did Rumors and Confirmations, I had talked about the build up to the Young Avengers.
Yeah.
Right. And I said that they are putting in place these characters, okay, that have an attachment to other Marvel characters that's on the screen right now that we are seeing, and they are actually tied into the Young Avengers.
The new Avengers.
I talked about Wanda's twins. I talked about Ant-Man's daughter, Cassie Lang, the girl that's coming in Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, who ends up becoming Hawkeye. Right. And now we get the big reveal, okay, of Eli Bradley.
Yes, sir.
And it's so easy to miss this, though. It's so easy to miss this.
It's very easy to miss.
Because they don't even say his name.
Okay. And if you haven't read the comics, you clearly have no idea who Eli Bradley is, but he ends up becoming Patriot.
Right.
He is just someone who is answering the door if you don't know the story.
Yeah. And he's like, you're not getting in here. You know, but then he goes and, you know, Bucky tell him what to say to Isaiah, and Isaiah's like, okay, let him in. And he's like, I want to see if you grew your arm back. But this whole tie-in of Isaiah Bradley, and I'm so happy. And I don't know if you guys remember me talking about this. I said, I believe that we're going to see Isaiah Bradley in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Right.
And then we got him in episode 2.
I was happy to see
him. Now you're
quick.
thinking that we're going to see him again.
Yes, I believe we're going to see him again. I believe Sam is going to go and talk to him.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
But we get to see Eli Bradley, and I squealed for a moment the first time I saw it. I squealed. I was like, "Ah!"
I remember you said, I remember listening to that cast and you saying something about Isaiah Bradley and then Eli. We were all expecting at that point for Isaiah to show up. But when Eli answered the door, I was like, oh, no, they just did that.
They gave it to us immediately.
And it's very strategic why they did that.
Right.
Very strategic why they did that.
Yes.
Also him not saying his name, just call him.
Believe it or not, there's a moment. Yeah. There's a moment in the comics, right? And see this whole play between Sam and Isaiah. In the comics, when T'Challa and Aurora gets married, Eli Bradley shows up at the wedding as one of the distinguished guests. He was in the same group with Oprah and Obama. No, George Bush was the president. So I think Bush was there because dignitaries were there. And Isaiah Bradley was there, and Falcon was actually pushing him in a wheelchair.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yes. And Luke Cage is standing on the side, and he's like, oh my God, do you not know who that is? And he is like fangirling all over Isaiah Bradley being there.
He went full on fan mode.
Full on fan. And when you go back and you read that story, and a lot of people who haven't read that story, go back and read Captain America, Red, White, and Black, The Truth. I believe it's called, right? And this story dive into Isaiah Bradley's backstory. And, you know, on his very last mission, he went to do a mission for the government, and trying to conceal his identity, he grabbed one of Captain America's old costumes and put it on. He went out, did the mission, got caught, but got liberated himself, whatever, you know, finished the mission, went home. And on returning home, he's met by the government, who locks him up and throw him in prison. Now, in the show, it says 30 years he's in there. I think in the comics it's like 17. Could be wrong with my math.
But now also that means that would that have been SHIELD that locked him up, or would that have been Hydra that would have locked him up in the first place?
No, it's the U.S. government, because the U.S. government was the ones who were operating, and it was the Tuskegee Airmen is who they were operating on, 300 of them. And out of the 300, I think either 2 or 3 of them survived. Isaiah Bradley was one of them.
Yeah.
So Isaiah Bradley goes to prison. And when he's in prison, the super soldier serum starts to deteriorate his brain. He's in there for years and years and years. Finally gets out or whatever. But at this point, he's disabled, but still super strong. And he has this super soldier serum coursing through his veins. His grandson takes up the mantle as Patriot for the Young Avengers. Yeah. And everybody is wondering if he has super soldier serum running through him. But it turns out that he doesn't, and he's using a mutant, I don't know, not a mutant, but some kind of growth hormone or something, drug that he's using.
So he's taking something.
He's taking some kind of supplement, yeah. And then he gets really severely injured. And upon being injured, he needs a blood transfusion.
And he gets this from his father, his
and
grandfather.
He gets it from Isaiah, and that's how he ends up having the super soldier serum coursing through his veins, and he makes a full recovery and whatever. But he's running around on the team as Patriot. So we see them setting up all these young Avengers. Again, Kate Bishop is coming, and then there's only 2 that's left. Iron Lad, which we don't know if that would be replaced by Iron Heart, because we know Riri Williams is coming, played by Dominique Thorne,
correct,
if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
And then we have Hulkling.
Right.
And if they do an Agent,
and you say he's Skrull, he's half Skrull, right?
Half Skrull, half Kree.
So we could see him in the next Captain Marvel, possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly in the next Captain Marvel or in Secret Invasion.
Right.
Remember, they're doing a Secret Invasion story.
Right.
And if they're doing a Secret
Invasion, but who
is
is that?
Story,
is that going to be like? Who is like that going to be under? Is that Secret Invasion going to be a subtitle, or is that going to be like the major movie role, the major movie title?
Oh, it's a Disney Plus show. It's a series.
Oh, it's a Disney Plus show. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. But Nick Fury's coming back for that. Also, what was the guy named who was head of the Skrulls, the Good Skrulls?
Oh,
I don't remember.
It's also Rogue
He's
One.
coming.
Yeah.
Talos. He's coming back as well.
Yeah.
Okay. He's coming back as well. So I can't say if it's going to be in a Captain Marvel series, a Captain Marvel show, or if it's going to be in the Invasion series. But we know that there's that to come. So we see them perfectly lining that up. But also, being that this is 2021, 22, and beyond, it wouldn't surprise me if we get like some of the original members plus some of the new members. Because what is her name? Kamala Khan is coming, Miss Marvel. Yeah. We have America Chavez coming in Doctor Strange 2 early next year as Miss America. Who else do we have? I think that's it.
I think you got them all.
As far as the young folks, right? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's move on real quick. So we see that whole Eli and Isaiah, and you see him chuck the thing in a wall.
Yeah,
and it's just epic to see that he's old, but he's still got the super soldier in him. But it's also so messed up to think of what the government did and what the government allowed Hydra to do. Because while he was in lockup for the government, Hydra was going in there, drawing his blood and doing experiments, which we found out later.
Yep.
A.P.A.C.